Donald Trump has been left stranded on an island all alone as Iran has swatted him down, and Iran has done it in public, folks. This is quite pathetic. This morning, Donald Trump announced that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff were going to Islamabad, Pakistan, in order to meet with Foreign Minister Araghchi of Iran. Donald Trump and his chief propagandist, Caroline Leavitt, said that they expected there to be productive conversations. One big problem, Iran from the outset of this morning knew that this was going to be the Trump regime's plan on market manipulation Friday, and they already released Foreign Minister Araghchi's plans, and they said, yes, Araghchi was going to be in Islamabad, Pakistan to meet with officials there, but he would not meet under any circumstances with U.S. officials. He was then going to travel to Russia as part of bilateral relations, and that's all that Foreign Minister Araghchi was going to do. Then Iranian press posted that Foreign Minister Araghchi was not going to be meeting with Kushner or with Witkoff, and this was all a massive lie by Donald Trump and Caroline Leavitt. Once again, the Trump regime leaked this information to Axios. Barack Ravid, who's been one of the chief propagandists, a stenographer of all of Donald Trump's lies, he's been wrong in massive and deeply damaging ways throughout this entire war. But he's the guy at Axios who just posts all of Donald Trump's drivel. So he posted this morning the following. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are expected to travel to Pakistan in the coming days for the negotiations with Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi. My report on Axios. Then on the Fars news agency, as well as the Tasnim news agency, which are Iran's media agencies, they denied this. Iran's Fars news agency disputed this Axios report, claiming that Witkoff and Kushner were meeting with Araghchi in Islamabad, citing it as false and accusing the Western media of trying to sway Iranian decision-making. Quote, Axios claim on potential Witkoff-Kushner meeting with Araghchi. The Axios news outlet, citing anonymous American sources, claimed that two senior Trump advisors, Witkoff and Kushner, will hold talks with Araghchi in Islamabad. This is while CNN had previously reported that Iraqi officials would only engage in talks with mediating parties, and direct negotiations between Iranians and Americans are not expected. In recent days, Western media have repeatedly published false and biased news in an attempt to influence the course of decisions made by Iranian officials. And this is what comes out of the Tasnim news agency. And further, Professor Morandi from Iran, who's with the Iranian negotiating team, also confirmed. Here's what he just posted. The Iranian Foreign Ministry will not hold any negotiations with the Trump regime in Islamabad and will merely convey Iran's considerations and views regarding the end of the war to the Pakistani side. This meeting is a response to General Asim Munir, that's the field marshal who runs Pakistan's trip to Tehran, and I have been informed that no negotiations with any Americans are planned during the visit. Araghchi will not hold any negotiations with the Americans in Islamabad. The American media lied again. After the announcement of Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi's periodic visit to Islamabad, Muscat, and Russia, the American media outlet CNN said that Donald Trump is planning to send Witkoff and Kushner to Pakistan for talks with Araghchi. This is while there are basically no negotiations with the Americans on the agenda at the moment, and Araghchi's visit to Islamabad is not for negotiations with the Americans, but rather he will discuss with the Pakistani side Iran's concerns about ending the war. So what happened was Foreign Minister Araghchi had a meeting in Pakistan, and then Donald Trump, like the abuser, harasser, stalker that he is, in my opinion, said, Witkoff and Kushner, you need to go there now, and you please speak with Pakistan. Just show up there and negotiate with Araghchi. Just show up, and they'll definitely talk to you if you just go there. When Araghchi was going, having nothing to do with the United States at all. And then, look, earlier this morning, you had the Tasnim agency, the news agency in Iran. They published what Araghchi's trip was going to be, and then the Trump regime just lied about it. Araghchi outlines goals of his regional trip. I'm headed to Islamabad, Muscat, and Moscow. The purpose of these trips is to coordinate closely with our partners on bilateral matters and consult on regional developments. Our neighbors are our priority. No negotiations will take place between Iran and the United States during the Iranian foreign minister's trip to Pakistan. And then Trump leaked to Barack repeated Axios the opposite. And then he had Caroline Levitt go on state regime media, which calls itself Fox. And then she said, I can confirm that Kushner and Witkoff will be there negotiating with their counterparts in Pakistan. This isn't true. And not only that, but it's so damn desperate. It looks so pathetic. This is how you're treating the strength of the United States, or the once powerful strength of the United States. You're rushing there when they don't want to talk to you. And then you're lying to the media that there are these conversations. It's like the most pathetic thing. Here's what Caroline Levitt says. Let's play this clip.
So can you confirm that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are headed to Islamabad to meet with the foreign minister Araghchi?
Well, thank you, John, for having me. It's great to be with you as always. And yes, I can confirm Special Envoy Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be off to Pakistan again tomorrow morning to engage in talks, direct talks intermediated by the Pakistanis, who have been incredible friends and mediators throughout this entire process, with representatives from the Iranian delegation. Look, the Iranians reached out, as the president called on them to do, and asked for this in-person conversation. So the president is dispatching Steve and Jared to go hear what they have to say. And we're hopeful that it will be a productive conversation and hopefully move the ball forward towards a deal.
And then Caroline Levitt on state regime media says, Donald Trump has been clear from the beginning what the objectives were. And now we're in the diplomatic phase. Okay, well, if you're in a diplomatic phase, you can't keep on using negotiations as a form of threats. You didn't achieve any of your objectives. Let's be clear, because you said regime change and you were going to destroy all of the ballistic missiles. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz right now. And what are you going to do about it? You're going to use negotiations as a way to threaten Iran? Here, play this clip.
Ultimately, the goal of Operation Epic Fury was to ensure that Iran can never possess a nuclear weapon. And we've now transitioned into this diplomatic phase to get that done through the means of a deal. Now, President Trump has military options on the table that he always smartly retains as commander in chief. But right now, diplomacy hopefully continues, and we'll get to a place where the president's red lines will be met, where Iran will turn over their enriched uranium and where they will firmly commit to never obtaining, possessing, or moving towards creating and building a nuclear bomb. That's something President Trump has said for many, many years, long before he came into politics. He's just the first president in 47 years to actually act on it, and he deserves credit for doing so.
More from Caroline Levitt right here saying, and the vice president is on standby. And if he gets the word, he will be flying to Pakistan as well if these negotiations are productive. There are no negotiations. This whole thing is a lie, and it's an embarrassing lie. This is what you're doing with the You're lying about meeting with the foreign minister of Iran while they're out there not wanting to talk to you. It's really pathetic. Like, it's the most pitiful thing imaginable. Here's what she says. Let's play this clip.
Times to all of you, always willing to give diplomacy a chance. So Steve and Jared will be heading to Pakistan tomorrow to hear the Iranians out. We hope progress will be made, and we hope that positive developments will come from this meeting, and we will see. And the president, the vice president, the secretary of state will be waiting here in the United States for updates, and the vice president, I understand, is on standby and will be willing to dispatch to Pakistan if we feel it's a necessary use of his time.
And what's Iran doing? This is what they've been posting all day. Trump prefers Israel over the United States, and they're posting memes of U.S. citizens drowning while a parent, which is Trump, is holding up Israel in that famous meme. They are showing Donald Trump's post where Donald Trump posted about, if there are two factions in Iran, one that wants a deal and one that doesn't, let's kill the ones who don't want a deal. And the Iranian social media accounts respond, yeah, the whole world already got the memo on you being a full-fledged war criminal. Your own actions and rhetoric are quite telling, Mr. President. You don't need to repost drivel by neocon hawks. Then they mocked Pete Hegseth's press conference from earlier this morning on the Iranian social media channels. Like this one. Pete Hegseth kept on saying the Arabian Gulf. And then the Iran social media account goes, where is the Arabian Gulf he keeps mentioning in his rants? Someone get this poor soul a real map of West Asia or a geography lesson. He clearly doesn't know where his own forces or station. Wait, can he even read a map? And here's the video that they posted. Let's play it.
Of global shipping. And we know that they know. Their real navy is at the bottom of the Arabian Gulf.
And then the Iranian embassy social media accounts are saying, reminder, Epic Fury was a blatant violation of international law, and any involvement in this war against Iran, including siding with child-killing aggressors, is both unlawful and an act of treason. And then they posted this video. I mean, think about it. While the U.S., the once powerful United States who led the free world in the past, is out there lying about meeting with Foreign Minister Araghchi. When Araghchi says, I'm not meeting with you. I had pre-planned meetings with Pakistan. Get away from me. Like, get the hell away from me. We don't want to talk to you. That's what the U.S. has become. Then Iran drops a video like this. Back to Stone Age. Welcome to the end of your new world age. Here, play this clip.
I'll send you back to the Stone Age. I'm the biggest. I'm the greatest. Send you back to the Stone Age. I'm the biggest, I'm the biggest, I'm the greatest. Kneel down, you're in the presence of the King of Kings. 7,000 years of glory.
And then the Iranian embassies are posting these videos of people in Tehran Square, of 50 nights of people coming out to Tehran Square. Remember when Donald Trump said that the people in Iran were going to come out and they were going to support Trump and Netanyahu, and Donald Trump hacked into the regime, hacked into Iranian TV, and Trump and Netanyahu were like, Iranians, take control of the streets and march and show your support for Netanyahu and Trump. Yeah, the opposite is happening. Here, play this clip. Now, this also comes at a time where we discussed this in a video this morning. We've seen the United States State Department's purported legal justification for the war in Iran. I'm going to read directly from what our State Department just published this week. Epic Fury is only the latest round of an ongoing international armed conflict with Iran. As the United States has explained in multiple letters to the UN Security Council, including most recently on March 10th, the United States is engaged in this conflict at the request of and in the collective self-defense of its Israeli ally, as well as in the exercise of the United States' own inherent right of self-defense. And it goes on to say, it's therefore a lawful war, is what the State Department argues, because Israel has always been in a constant state of war with Iran. Thus, the United States has always been in a war with Iran. So this isn't a new war. It's a continuation of a 47-year-long war, and the U.S. is just involving itself in that dispute. That's what it is. Go read the whole report for yourself if you don't believe it. Meanwhile, what Washington Post is reporting, clearing the Strait of Hormuz of mines could take at least 6 months if you started even right now. And we know that Iran has placed more mines in the Strait of Hormuz during the ceasefire, as well as they fortified their defenses, because they believe all of this is a ruse and it's just going to lead to Donald Trump doing another invasion of Iran. You know, they say as long as Donald Trump is using negotiations as a tool to threaten and attack, there's no reason to talk to him. And as long as Donald Trump refuses to negotiate within Iran's framework, the 10-point framework, which Trump previously agreed to, Iran doesn't want to meet with him. Yet Donald Trump sent Witkoff and Kushner to go out there. It's really pathetic. And then finally, I'll share this with you, that the United States is running out of its weapons. Here's the approximate estimate of percentage of U.S. munitions expended in the Iran war. 50% of THAAD interceptors gone, 50% of Patriot interceptors gone, 45% of precision strike missiles gone, 30% of Tomahawk missiles gone. You don't think Iran knows that? You don't think Iran knows those numbers? And meanwhile, with all of that taking place, you had Hegseth saying the following. Let's play it.
I see it every day behind closed doors. President Trump's fortitude is unshakable and his mission is crystal clear. President Trump said it again yesterday. We have all the time in the world, and we're not anxious for a deal. And I hear him say it every day in private as well. Iran knows that they still have an open window to choose wisely. As we said previously, choose wisely at the negotiating table. All they have to do is abandon a nuclear weapon in meaningful and verifiable ways, or instead they can watch their regime's fragile economic state collapse under the unrelenting pressure of American power. A blockade as long as it takes, whatever President Trump decides. Because the bottom line remains the bottom line. Iran will never get a nuclear bomb. The choice is theirs, but with this blockade, the clock is not on their side.
So pathetic. Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.